Hey guys, Chastity here at the GameSpot co-op stage. I'm here with my friend Tamoor, and we're going to talk about Spider-Man. Marvel's Spider-Man, coming from Insomniac Games. We have Bryan Intihar, the creative director of Insomniac Games here. Thank you for coming.
Round of applause. I like it.
So excited. We have to talk about Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Tamoor, what do you want to know about Spider-Man?
Yeah, I'm a big Spider-Man fan too, and I guess it's kind of obvious why you'd have a Spider-Man around now, a new Spider-Man game. But why do you think this is a good time to return to Spider-Man? There's been a kind of lack of Spider-Man games recently.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it comes down to right time, right, hopefully developer, right partners, and with Marvel and Sony, and I think we made Sunset Overdrive. I remember actually reading a really early Sunset Overdrive review, and someone actually wrote, Insomniac would be great at making a Spider-Man game. And I actually copy and pasted that and sent it to Sony saying, see, we should do this. And, just in terms of us as a developer, Sunset Overdrive, we had a lot of fun with traversal.
Right.
A character that traverses a lot around. His sense of humor and his gadgetry fits Insomniac really well. And just as being a Marvel fan my whole life and being a big Spider-Man fan, it was a perfect fit.
Yeah, and obviously you're bringing a Spider-Man game to market at a time when the superhero genre has shifted quite significantly. Now there's games out there that, like Batman, for example, that have changed the perception of superhero games. So you can't get away with a half-assed superhero game anymore.
No,
so
I mean,
is that something that you think about? And
I have a lot less hair in my head because of that exact thing. I mean, first of all, a huge fan of Arkham, obviously, and but just if you even look at the movies, right? Like what Marvel's doing on the movie front or their TV shows, the level of the quality bar is raised so high, and I think you go back to your question, why now? Well, the need for a Spider-Man game that is that people really going to love. That's what we want to do. I mean, we feel like it's really the right time, and we feel like we hopefully can deliver it.
Right.
Yeah, I remember the sheer joy with the reveal last year, and then I felt equally excited seeing this trailer this year.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all gameplay. Like, I mean, that's the mission. I mean, we put some parts a little bit shorter just for time, right? But that's an actual mission from the game. The mission start to the mission end. So
nice.
I think some people were kind of confused. Is this a trailer? No, this is just we captured a mission. So and we're playing it. We've been playing it live at the Sony booth, both behind closed doors and at that big theater.
Right.
Cool. So for those that are not at E3 and have not had a chance to play, let's dive a little bit into this trailer.
Sure.
So let's talk about the mechanics. So we see web slinging. What's new?
Yeah. So I think of three big things. This is really a demo we put together that really shows what is our Spider-Man like. And first of all, it starts with combat, which you're seeing now. This idea of he's not just a bruiser. Actually, he's not a bruiser. He's more of an acrobatic improviser, right? He's combining webs, ground combat, air combat, environment action, stealth, and even gadgetry to give you a lot of player choice. And what you're seeing people play the game at Insomniac's playing it this week, they're changing up their strategy a lot. Second thing is traversal. We have to nail traversal. That's signature of the character, but we also want to expand his moveset and add elements like parkour. And in this demo later on, you'll see him running through an office building. All those parkour elements apply to when you're in the open world as well, whether you're on the street level or even on the rooftops. And then lastly for us, it's the spectacle moments. So it's like big blockbuster moments you would see like in an epic Marvel movie, right? And bringing those to life and letting you make you part of it. It really nailing that. So those are the three big elements when it comes to the Spider-Man side of this experience.
Can you talk a little bit more about the swinging? Because the trailer was quite focused on the action element of it. We saw a lot of combat. We saw him kind of transitioning through these set-piece moments, but we didn't get as much swinging as we might expect.
So the portion after the crane till when you actually get thrown into the building, that's all gameplay traversal. We're just happen to be chasing a helicopter, but you can do that same sequence. I mean, you could traverse that same area in the open world. So that for us, it's about fluidity, flow, freedom, style, but at the same time expanding his moveset and and speed as well. So this is a short section of the game. It's a very story-based mission. The whole island of Manhattan is going to be available to you from day one.
So one of the
And also, just clarify, the webs actually do attach to buildings. That's a
All right.
very big
I
thing
was
for
going to
people.
ask about that.
Webs attach to buildings, I promise you.
So obviously everyone brings up Spider-Man 2 as the
I've
the
talked
benchmark.
a lot about it this week.
I actually, unpopular opinion, I loved the swinging from the Amazing Spider-Man game.
Okay.
I think that is probably my favorite swinging mechanic, just because the way you jump off a building and the camera swoops in behind you, it gives you this exhilarating feeling.
Yeah, I mean, we we are still in development, so we're going to be doing more things with our camera to kind of sell the sense of speed, flow, and cinematic kind of feel as you swing it through the city.
I guess I was going to ask, like, what have you been looking at in terms of games and other Spider-Man material?
I mean, everything. I mean, obviously, I go back as far as Spider-Man 1 on the PS1. When Eversoft, that game, that didn't have open world, but it definitely made you feel like Spider-Man. And then obviously Spider-Man 2, and then everything has come with it. But not just looking at Spider-Man games, but open world games in general. Obviously looking at Arkham and all, how they handled, dealing with an iconic character like Batman. We look at pretty much everything. I mean, this is a pretty beefy game, and we obviously want to see what other people have done, but add our own Insomniac flavor to it.
In terms of the combat, people are going to look at it, and from a surface level, it looks very much like Batman combat. Yep. But you've clearly done a little more tweaking to it. So can you talk a bit about how it kind of differentiated
I think, I mean, not to go too much into comparison, but I think one thing we really want to capitalize on is what makes Spider-Man unique. He's much more acrobatic. We have this idea of feeling like a ping-ponging around a different environment. That's what we want to sell. That I don't want to see him walking. I want we have a button dedicated to web striking because we want you to be really moving around the environment pretty well. Like you can see people when they play, they actually jump off enemies onto another one, combining that with webs. All the environment interaction we have, really, I think it's again making you feel like you can play how you want, and depending on what situation you're in, the environment, the enemies, really being able to improvise and change your tactics.
Right. I think it's time to get a bit nerdy.
Yep. All right. So
we see
go on. Peter Parker in here, but we also see Miles at the end, right?
Yeah, Miles is in the game.
Okay.
What is the deal? What is his role?
So I can't go too much into it, but I think with Miles is I've been saying three things really. One is we talked about it making a unique Spider-Man universe. Miles is part of that journey. It's not some weird interdimensional portal that Miles came through and now he's there. He just is in the same world as Peter. Okay. Two is this is very much a Peter Parker story, yet having Miles there allows us to kind of tell a different side of Peter, show a different side of Peter. And third is I just love the character. I think he's fantastic, and I want to expose him to more people.
Right. Obviously, Miles is known for also being Spider-Man. Is there only one Spider-Man in this game?
We'll talk more with Miles about it.
Okay then.
This is our first extended version of the look at the game. We'll have much more to talk about. This is really, whether it's the combat, traversal, the world, and particularly the story, we're really scratching the surface. I was actually, a couple weeks ago, talking to some people about the whole story, and I went back to our lead writer, John Paquette, and I said, man, this is a pretty big game.
Yeah.
And I think what you're seeing is just scratching the surface. And we talk a lot about what makes a great Spider-Man story, and for Marvel's all about story. And when Peter's world and Spider-Man's world collide, that's when the magic happens. And we're going to see that not just with Martin Lee, who works at Feast, and Aunt May works there as well, but multiple characters and situations in our game.
Yeah. Can we talk about the villain here?
Martin Lee, So Martin Lee is a relative newcomer to the Spider-Man universe, which I would say represents kind of, we have a group of familiar villains like Kingpin, which you also saw on this, but you also see Martin Lee, a newcomer. And what we like, going back to those worlds colliding, Martin Lee allows us to kind of see that, whereas, because Aunt May works at Feast, the Feast shelter where Martin Lee's established them. But at the same time, from a gameplay standpoint, the inner demons with their abilities, the negative weapons, so the big guy with those negative energy attacks, it allows us to add a different type of strategy to our combat encounters.
Right. There's also, eagle-eyed viewers will notice, Yuri Watanabe is mentioned there.
Yeah, she's his police contact in this game. Like another character we wanted to highlight, and I think Spider-Man's story, his relationship with the city is complex.
Yeah.
Some people think he's a hero. Some people love him. Some people think he's a vigilante. Some people call him a menace.
Right.
Yuri happens to be one of those people that believes the city could use someone like Spider-Man. So she goes out of our way to keep him in the loop.
I mean, Spider-Man's relationship with the city is complex, but his relationship with Yuri is also complex because obviously Yuri has an alter ego. She's Wraith. So is that something that you're kind of thinking about as well?
We have a lot. She's a great character, isn't she?
So are you going to try and kind of build in? You don't have to mention specifics, but like there's so many different complex characters within the wider Spider-Man universe. Are you kind of bringing those in?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the great thing is he does have a huge cast of characters, not just the villains, but also maybe characters like a Yuri Watanabe, right? And I think that we're going to lean on having a lot of Marvel characters that are part of the Spider-Man universe in this game, even in, let's say, not as well-known roles.
Okay, cool.
Nice. So let's talk about Peter's backstory in this game.
Yeah.
So he's been Spider-Man for 8 years, right?
You did your research.
Okay.
That's impressive. Yeah.
So what else do we need to know about him?
So he's 23.
Okay.
He's just graduated college, and he's working as a scientist. So it's not the Daily Bugle in this game for him. He's now we really want to push the, Peter's a really smart guy. He's really, and whether that's the design of his suit, his gadgets, we really want to lean into that side, the scientist, aspect of him.
Right. And his supporting kind of family, Mary Jane, any of those guys showing up? Gwen Stacy?
I talked about Aunt May.
Aunt May's
But
the
I would
only
say
one?
It's a pretty big cast.
Jameson?
Pretty big cast.
Pretty big cast.
Give us
I
more.
got
Give us
to come back and
more.
talk to you about.
Okay,
right?
cool. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I'm kind of like interested more in the way you're kind of building the city and what happens at ground level. That's the thing that is difficult to do. You get you have space in the sky, but when you reach the ground in a lot of Spider-Man games, it can feel quite empty.
So
how are you approaching that?
Yeah. So for us, New York City is a character within itself.
Right.
It was very important that it felt like a living, breathing city, and you can't have a living, breathing city without people and vehicles and interactions, and that's all there.
Right.
I'm not going super details of the open world, but I will tell you that this is a living, breathing city that knows Spider-Man is there and reacts to Spider-Man.
Okay. And in terms of like your progression through the story, is it it's an open world, but is it similar in terms of you have missions and side quests and that kind of thing?
Yeah,
or
I mean,
kind of
I would say we're not, like I said, I'm not going to huge into the structure of the game, but there's a mainline story, and there are other activities to do in the world.
Okay, cool.
I want to ask about the White Spider.
Okay, so
Tell me about that.
I will tell you, I can't tell you why the White Spider is there, like story reason, but I can tell you, like, the White Spider for us kind of signifies, the suit design actually signifies our philosophy of the game. When you look at that character, you know that's Spider-Man, right? It's got the red, it's got the blue, it's got the mask. But you look at the big white spider, it looks a little different, right?
Yeah.
You know that's Insomniac Spider-Man. That's our universe. But at the same time, we didn't want to do it just for shock value or to get some hate email or whatever I've got. There's a very specific story reason for it, and you'll understand that reason when you play the game. Everything we do, we try to have a story reason for it.
Cool.
Will there be a moment where something bad happens and he gets all angsty and colors it in black? Because if that happens, I'll be very upset.
Now, do you like the suit?
I like this suit.
Okay,
yeah, I
good.
like it. I like the eyes. Can you talk about the eyes?
Oh yeah.
More?
So that's a great question. I actually haven't got that question a lot. The challenge with obviously you can tell it's a very it's a realistic looking game, right? And when you have a character whose face is covered, it's hard to get emotion expressiveness. But you look at the comics, his eyes are very expressive, right? And while they may not be as dramatic as some of the comics do, we wanted to use the shape of the eyes to kind of communicate how he's feeling, give him some expression. So, that's really our animators, our riggers, our character artists really gave us that flexibility to be able to manipulate his eyes to have more expressive character.
And it seems to work. I mean, you look at the Deadpool movie, and that's one of the things that people praise it
the
for.
thing is, I saw it in Civil War, right? And I was like, we're going to do this already. We were going to do it already. But it just shows we're on the same page, which to me says we're doing something right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the game is coming in 2018?
2018,
That's all you can say?
That's all I can say.
That's all you can say. All
we
right.
got to get it right. The most important thing about this game is we know how important it is to fans. We know how important it is to us because we are fans, and we just want to spend the time to get it right because they deserve it.
All right. Bryan, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Give a round of applause for Bryan.
Thanks, everyone.
Looking forward to Spider-Man. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
we're going to bring up two of our friends that you know well. We've got Mike Mahardy and Peter Brown, and we're going to round up this show because this is the last panel at E3 2017. Guys, we made it.
We did it.
We made it.
Can't believe it.
Somehow.
All right. Let's round it up.
Right.
What do you think of E3 2017?
I loved it because Nintendo gave me a great show, and that's what I was hoping for. I got a lot of Metroid stuff, but otherwise, a lot of publishers had great things. It was a good year.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, Nintendo was awesome, but I also was kind of like pleasantly surprised by like Ubisoft and stuff like that, and Microsoft. You know, I think Microsoft in the last couple of years has kind of struggled to present itself well at the conference, but they did really well this year. E3 in general was really fun, tiring, but it's cool to see like the public this year, like 15,000.
How does that compare?
I've only,
How many E3s have you been to?
This is my second full time.
Okay.
I started like right before Yeah, this is my second E3 with GameSpot, but I wasn't down here as much as I would have liked to be because I was doing the stage upstairs with people. But yeah, no, it was definitely a little more crowded, but lines were longer. But at least
What do you
people
think, Tam?
Yeah, I agree. It's good to see like the consumers and people who love games about. Like as people who work here, we often are like, oh, we got to get through these people. But like when you're down here, you see the excitement, you see people, you know, really looking forward to seeing games, and then you see the developers seeing those people in line and noticing that people care. It's kind of like it builds a good atmosphere. It's good. I think it's been a good E3. Microsoft did really, really well. I felt like they had a lot of games, and they've, like Mike said, they've struggled in the past. So they came out really strong. Ubisoft was a big surprise. They gave us a Rabbids game and Mario game, and despite the fact that everyone was like, everyone hated the idea of it, and then they came out and were like, here it is, and everyone went, damn, now I want to play this. And I played it, and it was great, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
So
and
Mario and Rabbids is your big
Mario
surprise.
Rabbids good. Dragon Ball Z,
Dragon Ball Fighter.
legit Dragon Ball
Dragon Ball
Z
Fighter.
game.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, I
I'm so
cannot wait to
excited
play.
about that. Yeah, and Mario looks great.
Yeah.
How can you not be excited about throwing your hat on a bullet bill and then
What about
flying
you guys?
around?
Biggest surprises for you?
Metroid was a huge surprise.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, Bethesda was really strong with their 2017 lineup, and I'm, you know, surprised and delighted to see Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein 2 both coming out this year. Like, awesome.
Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2 was a surprise to me. I'm not excited for it, and I don't have that much of an attachment to the first game. I'm just more surprised that they actually showed it after like clamoring for it for so long, but at least people who wanted it got it. The reveal.
How about biggest disappointments, Tam?
I think I wanted to see The Last of Us 2. Sony's press conference was quite. I expected what they gave, and which is a bit of a shame because they usually come out and throw out something that no one expected, and we're like, wow, that was unbelievable. And although it wasn't a bad press conference, there were no major surprises, and the fact that they didn't have The Last of Us 2 was kind of disappointing. I expect we'll see that at PlayStation Experience, and we'll have more surprises there, but I wanted a bit more from Sony, even though I did ultimately enjoy what they showed us.
Got it. What about you guys? Biggest disappointments?
I was really hoping for Microsoft to show off some first-party stuff that was going to be exciting. Forza's good. I have no doubt that game will be good, but it's always expected, right? So Microsoft, despite having a great console to show off, didn't have the games I was looking for, honestly.
Mike?
Yeah, Last of Us 2 and the lack of first party on Microsoft, I would also say were probably my biggest. But I also kind of wanted to see something farther in the future for Bethesda, just because I'm such a big fan of all the things they publish. It was nice to see so many like games that are soon to be released, announced, and shown off. But I would have kind of liked to tease something in 2018, but I guess that's how it went.
We forgot an Anthem. Anthem was a
Yeah.
big surprise, and that was that year's press conference, and it looks
That was a big
really,
surprise.
really cool. Looks like Iron Man mixed with Destiny,
Yeah.
which I am all in for. And we got to see quite a bit of that this year, so that's cool.
Thoughts on Xbox Scorpio? How about that?
I'm tentatively excited for it. I don't have a 4K TV. And
Or
the
Xbox One X.
Yeah, Xbox One X. I'm not sure about that name yet. I keep calling it Scorpio, and I called it Scorpio to Phil Spencer.
No, well, he said it too on that.
And he
Xbox
did it.
One
I said it, and I felt bad, and then he did it, and I was like, well, I don't need to feel bad anymore. He can't do it, right? Yeah, but it's a 4K machine. I don't have a 4K TV, and it doesn't have many first-party titles. I expect I will be an idiot and be bad with my money and buy one eventually with a 4K TV. But right now, I'm cool. I'm all right.
It will make games on a 1080p screen look better by the means of downsampling and having to do different anti-aliasing techniques. But I'm with you. You need that 4K TV for it. But the console looks great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mike, are you getting an Xbox One X?
I don't know if I'll get it right away. Like I said, I'd like to see more of the first-party exclusives. Although Ori and the Whispering Willows.
Yeah.
No.
That'll come to PC as well, though, won't it?
No.
Windows 10 and whatnot. But yeah, I was pretty impressed by it. But like I said, I'd like to see more first-party stuff on it.
Yeah.
Before I get into it.
The other big game, I think, that I wanted to see that didn't show up was some sort of Fallout or Skyrim follow-up. We got
Well,
Skyrim.
no, they showed off Skyrim and Fallout in VR.
Yep, they're both in VR.
I need new, not the same old one.
Yeah.
Skyrim is still around. Skyrim is still a threat.
You were on Reddit for that No More
yeah.
Skyrim.
No more Skyrim. That would be good. I think Skyrim's been at more press conferences now than Call of Duty, which is unbelievable.
Not true.
Like somehow. But yeah, I'd like it if they wrap up the Skyrim story and move on to something else now. Sick of seeing those dragons and stuff. But
We know that they're making it. I mean, that was.
Yeah, they are making it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted a big RPG from Bethesda to kind of round out their games for 2018, even if it was further in the future. So that was a bit of a shame. But
Did anyone get to play Mario Odyssey?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just did like an hour ago, and you played it, what, a few days ago?
Yeah, on, like last Sunday.
Yeah. The game's
Thoughts?
really, it's fun.
Good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. It
I really wanna
really
play it.
adapts, the traditional 3D Mario controls into a setting that is surprising and unusual and damn weird. It's so strange, but in like a really great
What
positive way.
is Mario? What does that make him?
That's the biggest
What
thing
does that
about
make
Odyssey.
him?
The implications it introduces to Mario
Right.
lore is mind-blowing. Is Mario even sentient, or is it the hat? Is Cappy?
Exactly.
Has
Mario
Cappy
is
been
a
controlling him the
parasite.
entire time?
Yeah.
Mario is a parasite.
Mario could be a parasite. It's just and Cappy is the main life form,
Yeah.
struggling to deal with this plumber jumping around all the time. So yeah, I'm excited to play that game. It's freaky in some ways, but they haven't revealed too much about how it all fits together. But they have the Odyssey, the spaceship that moves you around.
Yeah.
But like when we had it on our stage, they were showing off an area which was really vibrant and like it was a desert area, but there was loads of ice there.
Yeah.
Which kind of like is confusing. And then like you skip to New Donk City, which is like a New York type area.
Still love
very-
that name.
Yeah, New Donk City
Donk
is an
City.
excellent name. But it's like concrete jungle, really grey. And so I was worried for a bit where it was like, oh, they don't have the vibrancy of a Mario game. And then they showed off that stuff, and I was like, wow, they're all in. And they have Mike was with me when they were showing off Mario, and they had the 2D side-scrolling stuff.
Yep.
That was amazing. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. I played the Toast Arena town that they showed off on our demo, that desert with the ice. Yeah, it's really fun. You go into the pipe, and then it's almost like a Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of becoming a painting, but it just goes, you can't throw your cap. It
Yeah.
reverts to the old school Mario controls, because you can crouch and everything, but you can't throw your cap, but you also keep whatever outfit you were wearing in the 3D world,
Yeah.
so you can have that safari outfit, but side-scrolling.
Yeah.
That part's really fun.
We were talking about how it's really good for kind of testing the skills of a classic Mario fan. So instead of having all the 3D stuff, if you were playing Mario back in the day, you can play this section of the game and get a little flavor from the old school days. And like there was one bit where a bullet bill was in the 2D plane and it went off the side and just came out in 3D. And it was really
Whoa.
cool to see. And I was like, damn, that's cool. But yeah.
Did anyone get to play any other Nintendo games? Nothing.
I didn't get to play it, but I saw a game coming from the creative director of the Darksiders series that will be on Switch.
Nice.
It's a dungeon crawling game, but it has like JRPG style turn-based battles, and it's got that great sort of like painterly style that you'd see in like the Darksiders games. It's called Battle Chasers.
Okay.
It's a very generic name, but the game is very striking.
It's the sequel to the comic book series that's been missing for a really long time.
No
so
kidding.
Joe Madura is
Yeah.
he worked at Marvel and DC.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was kind of behind the art. But before he made Darksiders, he created a comic book series called Battle Chasers. And then he didn't finish it. And for the longest time, people have been begging him to finish it. And he's not done it in the comic book world, but he's done it in the video game world. So this is picking up where that comic book left over. So it's got a lot of like RPG fans coming into it that are interested in it because of kind of like the Chrono Trigger-esque of it, elements of it, and the artwork and that kind of stuff. But it's also got comic book fans kind of paying attention to it now, which is really cool. Yeah.
I also got to interview the head of Monolith Soft, who's making Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for the Switch today. A couple interesting revelations. He doesn't like to play RPGs, despite that's all he makes for a living. So he actually plays Battlefield 1 more than anything else, which I found super surprising. We started talking about VR, and I asked him, okay, well, you're impressed by it. What things have you played in it? What do you like to spend your time in VR? And he goes, adult things.
Yeah.
It was a very candid interview, but yeah, that guy really knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Did anyone get to check out Star Wars Battlefront 2?
I did
No.
not, unfortunately, no. That was
Rob played a decent amount
Rob.
of it. It
Yeah,
was one of
yeah.
his favorite things from the show.
I really want to play it. Really bad.
Yeah.
I just really want to be a battle droid, and I want to win as a battle droid
Yeah.
because I feel like it'd be really insulting to lose to a battle droid.
It looks really enticing to me because it's actually more of a shooter this time around than the first one seemed to be. The first one was all like Star Wars Surface, which I liked for like 5 hours.
Well, there's supposed to be an awesome story mode.
And the story mode, yeah. The progression, the multiplayer, the actual deeper shooter mechanics, but the story mode as well is probably the main allure for me. Telling it from the Imperial side of things seems really appealing.
Yeah, like a whole new perspective just that you've never seen before. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you know, like, in the GameSpot office, you're one of the, foremost Star Wars experts, I would say, like, between you and Rob. So you must be excited that it's, like, bridging the gap,
I've
right?
seen a Star War or two.
between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, kind of not bridging the entire gap, but it's at least set between them.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm really excited about Call of Duty World War II.
Are you?
Surprisingly, yeah.
All right. Did you get to play?
Sorry, I haven't played it, no, but I interviewed the developer and I saw a bunch of it and I've been doing a lot of research about it and I like the idea of stripping away some of the more modern, like the movement stuff to try and... I'm interested in seeing how that changes the way Call of Duty fans play the game. They've had so many of these games now where it's been, if someone's shooting at you, leap into the sky and then climb along a wall and fire a rocket at their feet or something like that. So I'm really interested in seeing what happens when you give them a game where you can't automatically heal your health. You have to, have someone come over and help you. And, you can't sprint for infinite amounts of time. So going online, and I'm hoping that I can finally play multiplayer again and not absolutely get stomped by kids behind, that I've been playing it for hundreds and hundreds of hours. I got the old school skills for Call of Duty. So hopefully I can be on a competitive surface again.
Will you guys check out World War II, do you think?
No,
I haven't seen it yet.
not
No.
aside from the reveal, but I'm excited for it. I was telling him, like, I wasn't at first just because I've played so many, we played so many World War II shooters. And from what they've shown in the trailers, it looks like it's just more of like the Saving Private Ryan kind of storyline. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, that actually wouldn't be bad to see it with like updated graphics that are better than Call of Duty 2.
Yeah.
Or what's the last World War II shooter I played? I think it was Call of Duty 2 followed like that stuff. You go on that, but yeah, regardless, I'll play it.
I agree.
Yeah. What's your highlight from E3 2017, experiential or not, or just something that happened to you?
Metroid coming back.
Yep.
It's a big deal to me. Got 2 games that represent like 2 eras of the series that are both really great. So that was more than I could ever ask for.
Did you
So
make
I'm
a sound when you heard about it?
Huh?
Did you make a sound when you heard about it?
Yeah, well, so I saw the Metroid Prime announcement in like a closed door session with Nintendo people, and
I just wanted to know if that was
trying to like maintain composure, and it was like, the hell. But the Samus Returns, like that
Accidentally
reveal
fart.
that came during the Treehouse, I was like not paying attention to the Treehouse because they had finished their spotlight, and I was talking to the video editors, and I'm like looking at the TV, and it just like, wait, what the hell? Holy shit! There's another Metroid. Like I just so blown away by that.
Really
Super
quickly,
happy.
we have 2 minutes left. Mike, what was your highlight?
We got to interview Phil Spencer to kick off our upstage demo, or upstairs stage demo.
Pretty
Sorry,
awesome.
I'm really tired. But yeah, he was really, it went really well. He's fun to talk to, but it was also nice to, he's pretty candid, because we kind of, grilled him a little bit. But yeah, he was a great guy and, really candid, and people seem to be pretty positive in the comments, despite the fact that a lot of it was, you expect the fanboy kind of stuff. But yeah, worked out well.
Sam?
Yeah, similar. I was interviewing Phil Spencer. I'm glad to see there's a good Dragon Ball Z game.
Yes.
I ran into H3 outside while I was going to have a quick vape, which was pretty good.
And you showed everyone the picture,
yeah, I showed
guess
everyone
who
the
I
picture.
ran into.
Yeah, ended up on the top of Reddit, so
Yeah.
that's
Wait, you
pretty
got
good.
2 things on Reddit this week?
No, the Skyrim one did. The other one is
okay,
just,
sorry,
the
sorry.
Vape Nation thing is just between me and him.
I see.
It's cool. It's cool.
I got pulled up on stage for my Just Dance appointment, which I thought was be private, but it was on the stage in front of everyone, and I did a Just Dance 2018 demonstration.
But you're a good
I did
dancer,
okay.
so
I
you're
did
still-
okay though,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
was my highlight. Getting over
Nice.
my fears of dancing in front of a large crowd.
Yeah. That's kind of the worst way to dance is in front of a ton
In
of people
front of
if you're afraid of dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and learning choreography on the fly.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
That is terrifying. I do not envy you one bit.
Yeah, but that was it. We survived.
We did it.
E3 2017. We did it.
It's over.
Thank you guys so much for watching all of our GameSpot coverage. Keep watching all of our videos because there's so much you probably missed. There's so much I missed. There's so much you guys might have missed. So keep it locked to GameSpot for all your E3 2017 coverage. I'm Chastity, Tam. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Peter. We'll see you next year.